Right. Hello, hello, hello. We are live for our Tuesday live stream. Hi there, folks. Today we're going to have a look at music reading hints, like we have here. And I've got a bit of better technology this time, so I can actually reply to comments. So if you do have comments, hi, Shadow Graphics. If you do have comments or questions, please do write them on there, and we will cover them as we go along. Right, we're going to go through a whole variety of hints for reading music, okay? The first one is looking for patterns, and that's probably one of the biggest ones, to be honest, patterns in the music. And I often say to people that I teach, because music is written by people, people tend to like patterns in the music they listen to and in the music they write. So music that you read from a page tends to have patterns in it. Okay, we're going to use a variety of examples here. This one's good old Beethoven, Ode to Joy. So let's hear a bit of it. It starts here. And immediately, just from reading the music, we can see there's a line, space, line, line, space, line, space, line. So we're moving up and down by steps. So if you can see, let's do a wee stave here. If you can see something that goes up or down by one step, la, 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 there's three in a row that are going up the way. And on the piano, that's la, 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 three in a row keys. And whatever instrument you play, there'll be a pattern to it as you play it. Like on flute, you lift a finger for each note. On guitar, you move up on the frets for those ones. So whatever instruments you play, you can follow that pattern, going up or la, 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 going down the way, etc. Okay, so that's the first thing to look out for as you read some music, is the patterns. And in this case, steps. So when we see Beethoven's main theme, it's all stepping and step. On the melody, anyway, the steps are all there. In this part of the melody, there's a skip. So that's the second kind of pattern. Beyond just the step, you've got a skip, which is one extra gap between the two. Yeah. And on music stave, that'll look like, that'll be a line to a line, maybe. From there, for example, to there, there's a skip. Or may go the other way. And that's similar, line to line. See that? And on the piano, that's a skip with a gap in the middle. On your instrument, whatever you're playing, it'll be a gap between the two notes. And it might be line to line, or if you're following me, you might be ahead of me already. It might be space to space, for example. Yeah, F, A. So if you see two notes with a gap, there's a skip. And then Ode to Joy, the example we have here. There's been a couple of skips there, but at the end, what do we have? La, la. A big jump. Okay. Those of you with musical ears may spot that interval as a perfect fifth. I often say if you're playing a perfect fifth, usually your thumb's on one of them and your pinky's on the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah? On the piano, you've got a fifth of fingers. On music, a fifth is like two skips. So you've got skip from F to A, for example, but if we went from F, instead of going to A, I'll take that out, and skip all the way up to C, F, C. There you go. So there's a fifth. We've just totally avoided the one in the middle here. Yeah? Going from one space, miss one, next space. There's your fifth. Okay, so if you can spot a pattern like that, a really broad jump, miss one out in the middle. Yeah. So to recap, you're looking for patterns of gaps, maybe a step, or a skip, or a jump, or a leap. Fifth, I often call a fourth a jump. Step, skip, jump, and leap. You call them what you like. If you want to go number-wise, you've got seconds, thirds, fourths, and fifths. And at this level, I'm thinking beginner level, those kind of patterns are the most common ones you're going to see. This much step, skip, jump, and a big leap of fifth. And you can practice them playing them on your instrument. You can practice reading them. Line, space, line, line, space, line, space, line, and space, and line, space, and line. So there's a melody reading tip. Look for the patterns of steps and skips. Tips for skips. Okay. If you've got any questions about that, post them in the chat there or in the comments afterwards. Okay, so there's a melody type of recognition, I suppose. You're looking for patterns in the melody. Now, the other way you can look for patterns is in the harmony, okay? Not just the melody, but in the harmony. And in this case, I'm usually looking for chords. I can't help it. I'm looking for chords, especially in the piano, because chords are all over the place in piano. I'm playing one with a skip and then another skip. So if you like, I'm using two skips in a row to make a harmony. Let's pick another piece to look at. I'll try and find one that's got a chord in it. The first chord on the left hand is, and if you're using All Cows Eat Grass, it's cow and melody, but in this case, the tune starts. And in this arrangement, the chord is a harmonic shape. And it's easy to spot on sheet music because it's space, space, space. They all kind of look the same. Yeah? I'm pointing here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like three spaces on top of each other. And often that's where a lot of tunes start with their chords. Now, if we zoom along a bit further, we have three spaces here, the top three, and then the next chord is the bottom three spaces, which is also a triad, but it sounds a bit different if we play it on the piano. The first one's here, C, E, G, and it skips down the way to find because it's using the same two notes that are at the bottom of the first chord or the top of the second chord. In fact, these are relative major and relative minor, so that's another connection between the two. Related. But on the piano keyboard or on your instrument, if you're playing a chord, it'll be two away from the other one. So we're talking relative a lot of the time, especially when you're trying to read ahead. Now in this case, we're going from a triad, skipping down to another triad, and then we're skipping back up to the original one. Now once you get onto the next couple of lines, the triad, you see that sharp in the middle there, the accidental sharp, which makes it an E major. So on paper or on sheet music, there are still three spaces, three notes at equal distance, well, roughly equal. But you've got your triad, and on the music, it still looks similar, it's just a bit higher up. And in this case, it has an accidental. So accidentals are one more thing to look out for. Sharps, flats, it's making it sharp. Sharp goes up, flat goes down. So as you're coming across different harmonies as you go through pieces, on this line here, one of the notes moves up and then it comes back down again. So your harmony is changing. hear the difference there, yeah? Between those two chords, just by changing one note, your harmony changes. So there's another thing you can look out for as you're reading. We'll do the final chord in this song is on the next line where it goes, both top notes go up a key. And we end up on one more triad. If you can see it from there, we're on a G, and a B, and a D. So you've got three spaces again, but this time they're forming a G major chord. On piano, that's the same exact shape as the C major. Yeah. You can literally transpose your hand up and down those two. So there's things that I would be looking for when I'm thinking chords. Not just the actual chord themselves, but the spaces between them. I wonder, I don't know if I'll put space, or maybe put the intervals as the proper term, is it? And what the gaps are between those chords, how far apart the notes are, yeah? Hopefully that makes sense on those two things. So melody, harmony, these are very much about pitch. There's another thing that you can look for, rhythm. Now, often rhythm is repeated. And as an example of that, this piece is a great example because the rhythm of the 6/8, it's got that steady quaver rhythm, and it's all groups of 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. But then we have and the rhythm changes slightly there. So you're looking out for changes to rhythm and repetition of rhythm. Sometimes the rhythm is going to be the same. Like when you go to the next line of this piece, the rhythm's the same, and the next one it's the same. And then when it goes into the second bar, it has the semi-quaver, it has the speed up that you had in the previous line. So rhythm is something you can look out for, and I suppose that connects to pulse, which you'll hopefully have. Well, hopefully you've got one here, your pulse, and the music will have a pulse that underlies the whole kind of beat of the tune. The rhythm above that, you can kind of read ahead and see if the rhythm's going to be the same or if it's going to change. And when I sight read, I'm always scanning ahead to look and see, is the rhythm going to be the same? Is it going to change? Are they all quavers? Oh, there's a few semi-quavers in there. Oh, and then it's back to quavers. Some more semi-quavers, back to quavers. So you can look ahead and see if the rhythm is going to be the same, consistent, or variable. Let's go and find something else. Oh yeah, here's some interesting rhythms. Eine kleine Nacht. As soon as we get that half one, guess what? The next two bars have exactly the same rhythm. Obviously the pitch is all different, the harmony is totally different, but the rhythm is the same. And that's often used by composers and musicians to reinforce something. The rhythm will be the same, even if the pitch changes. So if you can spot from a distance as you're reading music that, oh, it's going to be the same rhythm, it's that, dum, 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 dum. There we go. You'll be in a better position to read that music because you'll know what rhythm it's going to be. Then you just have to work out what the new harmony is or the new pitch of the melody. Right. Hopefully I'm going okay with this. I don't see any comments. If you do have questions, stuck indoors at this time, maybe. Or if you're watching on a replay, feel free to get in touch through a comment. Anyway, let's pick up where we were. Rhythm, yeah. So you may spot a similar rhythm that's going to repeat. Or you may spot a consistent rhythm. In this piece, there's lots of quavers on the left hand. And they just keep going, and they just keep going. Chit, 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 chit. And it's that. So the rhythm is consistent. So in my mind, when I see that, I think, oh yeah, I can just kind of squeeze that bar into one single pattern, repeat it lots of times, in this case 8 times. And then you go on to the next pattern, and you repeat that 8 times. So you're squeezing a bar into less to look at. And I often say to people as I'm teaching that, you're trying to minimize how much you're processing as you read. And that means you're trying to reduce how much information you're taking in, where it's changing. So the melody's changing, but the harmony is just staying the same for a bar, and then it goes to the next bar, and then it goes to the next bar. So the changes are happening at different paces. It's almost like juggling. You're trying to do 2 things at once, but they're kind of in sync. If you've tried to juggle, I've tried it and it's harder than it looks. Once you get the hang of it, you can do it without thinking. It's the same with piano playing or any kind of musical instrument playing. It's harder than it looks at first, but once you get the knack of it, you can just go on and wonder what was all the fuss about, because you can do it fine. There we go. Obviously, I've played this one before, so it's not proper sight reading. But let's have a look at something I've not seen before. I'm just going to pick up a Gurlitt book and scroll through it and see a challenging piece and see what it looks like in just one look. So this one's called The Fair. I've never played it before. So what can I tell? Just from the very first bar, there's no sharps or flats. It's probably in C major. It looks like C major. Yeah. So it's sitting in that kind of tone, that kind of harmony. Melodically, there's a lot of steps there. They're all together. Yeah. So the piano keys are all going to be, and then it gets a bit broader. Yeah. So it's changing in size, but just by one note. And then it goes back to the first one, and then it repeats the second one. In fact, the melody repeats a bit as well. So let's have a go at it and see how far I get before I struggle. Okay, I struggled there. You're going to see it start to get quicker and quicker. It's vivace, it's meant to be quite fast. So sometimes I'm going the wrong way on the notes, but I know that it's going to go. You can hear a little pattern. Step and skip and step and skip and step, etc. All that kind of stuff. So that's what's happening on the right in the melody. The left, the rhythm, if we actually look at it, it's quite steady. It's repeating. So you can pick up on those patterns rhythmically, harmonically, melodically, and you can see what's happening there. I guess underlying that, I'm tapping my foot, so my pulse is there. So by using little tips like that, you can start to get quicker at reading the piece. Okay. Let's scroll through a few more and see what we can find. Something a bit different. Lida una volta, song without words. What's different about this piece? From the first bar, it's got a sharp, so it's probably G major or E minor. It's in 3/8 time, so it's got a little bit of a lilt to it, 3 quavers in a bar. The gaps on the left are a bit broader. You've got some skips and jumps, skips and jumps. Yeah, skip. And it's kind of like a broken chord. I don't know if I mentioned that already. So as well as having a chord like this all together, you might break the chord and play it low, middle, high. You can spot those by looking for a skip and a jump, or 2 skips, or maybe the other way, a jump and a skip. Moving down, moving back up. Up, down. So you can start to see the profile of the music. And generally, those notes are all forming broken chords as you go along. There might be a G major or a D major or an E minor or whatever other chord are in there. The right hand's going a bit slower, a bit of a more spaced out kind of song, rather than being all like. Okay, so when you put them together, you're listening for the rhythm and how they fit together. There's a change in rhythm. Yeah, you may notice I'm putting in a little bit of dynamics here. That's one of the easiest things you can do as you're playing along. Is it piano? Is it forte? Is there a crescendo, a diminuendo? What can you do with the music that you can enhance the dynamic range as you play? And it's often the last thing people do when they play is like, oh, it had some dynamics. I forgot about that. But look out for them as you go along. Oh, it's going to get louder, and then it's getting quieter again. So the more that you can add in, the better. And obviously, articulation is a whole other thing, but we're not going to cover all of that at the moment. We're just about to round up, unless we have any questions. And I don't think we have, so that's cool. But I'll put this on for replay so you can watch it back. And there's going to be more this week. Can't even remember what the other ones are. Tomorrow, we shall be looking at scales, skills, and tips. So that'll be interesting. See what we can find out about scales. Probably arpeggios will be in there as well. But just techniques for improving your scales tomorrow at 3. Anyway, thanks for joining us or watching on the replay, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.